is here, and pretty soon birdwatchers are going to be flocking to places like this to catch their favorite species returning. About 3/4 of Canada's birds are migratory, leaving in the winter when it's cooler and then coming back when conditions are just right. But climate change is already starting to mess with those biannual international flights. Our birds that don't have to go too far, like our robins and our ducks, use weather cues or climate cues to return. Things like waiting for the weather to warm up or when the water starts to open up. But as our spring melts push earlier and earlier with climate change, our birds are following suit. In Alberta, our mountain bluebirds are arriving about 19 days earlier than they did about 60 years ago. And our warmer falls mean our birds are leaving later as well.
In the fall, our saw-whet owls that we catch at the Beaverville Bird Observatory are migrating later. So 3 days per 20 years, so 1.5 days per decade later, which doesn't sound like much, but if that keeps multiplying out, it'd be like the bluebirds arriving 3 weeks earlier than they used to.
And for our birds that do have further to go, our warblers and our peregrine falcons who winter in Mexico or South America, they've evolved to use daylight hours to know when to leave and when to come back. But the problem there is that if they're coming back to what they think is an early spring, they may actually be late. In other words, climate change is happening faster than they can evolve. So they adapt, heading further north or higher up mountain slopes to where it's cooler, which may not be the right habitat for them. Now, the good news is that we as humans are fascinated by birds. Thousands of bird watchers provide data every year to scientists that can provide a bigger picture of what's happening on the landscape.
The birds are like the proverbial canary in the coal mine, telling us about climate change and its impact on the environment that could affect things that are more critical, such as insects, soil microbes, things that are a lot harder to monitor.
So keep an eye on our feathered friends. They're a great marker for tracking our changing planet.